Okay, I'm in a glass tube, but you do a lot of this.
Approaching 45-46 feet. Surface temperatures. Drop pod deployed. Enjoy your stay.
If you don't like open world games, moderate survival elements, and maps that basically require you to scavenge every square inch for anything you might need in the future, this game really isn't for you. Know that from the moment you sprint across the ice and dive into the water for the first time, your best weapon is your brain. You should always be on the lookout for things you can use to make your life a bit easier. This is a bladderfish, and veterans of the first game know what this is for. And if you're not a veteran, no, it's not for that. Although they did think to include a toilet this time. Also, penguins! Aww. Once you're done gawping at the scenery, which in all fairness might take a while, you should locate the drop pod as soon as possible. It has a fabricator that builds almost everything you'll ever need. Start by turning the bladderfish into a bottle of water. Wasn't it obvious? If you have a brain like a sieve and can't remember anything, like me, you can pin recipes to the HUD. That keeps track of their ingredients as you collect them. What you can't do is make weapons. Well, there is one weapon, a knife. Don't expect to win many fights with it. You're more likely to win a fight with a creep vine than a shark.
New blueprint synthesized.
When you enter the creepvine forest, you might notice some differences. First, the area is no longer home to a predator called the stalker, but home instead to the sea monkey, a docile herbivore that plays among the kelp. Secondly, the creepvines themselves now have bright red seed pods instead of yellow. They're still recognisable, but it does look strange after getting so used to the yellow ones. And that little bastard just stole my scanner! Come back here! Gimme! Good grief. They may not be predators, but they're a pain in the backside. Incidentally, since there's no stalker, that means you won't have to find the ultra-rare Stalker's Tooth resource anymore. Rejoice, veterans! No more pissing around with salvage. Yeah, the scanner, by the way, is the first of many tools you'll have to build to get anywhere. Scanning plants, animals and other things is the only way you learn more about them. Some are useful, most are not, but you'll only learn which is which over time. All your gadgets are built using the materials you find around you. The flashlight, for example, is built from one battery and one piece of glass. And yes, the glass itself is made from 2 quartz. And the battery is made from 1 copper and 2 ribbon plants. Don't worry, you deal with these materials so often, you will get used to it. But hang on a moment. One of the first things I had to check: does the battery trick still work? The battery trick, in case you don't know, is the act of taking a battery of, let's say, 60% charge, removing it from the first tool and using it to build a second gadget. New gadgets always used to spawn with 100% charge, meaning it was a cheaty way of recharging a battery for almost nothing. So, does the trick still work? No, it doesn't. It wasn't a particularly useful trick, I'll be honest, but I kinda liked it. I'm gonna miss it. That means you'll need a battery charger. That means you need to find one. Technology isn't earned by slow research and patient development. It's earned by scanning technology fragments scattered all over the ocean like some sort of cosmic rubbish bin, and is the main reason you need the scanner before anything else. And speaking of the battery charger, you can't install one inside the drop pod, which means you're gonna have to find somewhere else to stick it. Oi! It's a bit tricky stapling one to a rock wall though, and when I say bit tricky I mean impossible, so you'll have to build somewhere else instead. Introducing the Habitat Builder. Aside from looking like a shaver, the Habitat Builder is used to build your very own personal sea base. You'll find it at Delta Station, which is also where, among other things, you can scan the multi-purpose room. Yeah, you can build that right from the start this time. And a bar table. And a locker. And a map? And the battery charger? Oh yes! That makes things so much simpler. The first game never gave you a map. And you had to bloody work for the multi-purpose room and the battery charger. Here, they're just given to you early on. Building a sea base was one of the highlights of the first game. Building is simple. You only need the ingredients in your inventory, select the thing you want to build, and hold the gadget's trigger button. And if you suddenly decide you've built the wrong thing, damn it, unbuild it. You get all the resources back. You can build quite an extravagant base, if you wish. In survival mode though, you'll probably want to keep it simple to conserve resources. Every piece you add to a base reduces its structural integrity. So you have to be careful not to breach that limit. And oh crap, the base is flooding. That's bad. That's a bad thing I just did. And this is where the brand new control room comes in. It, among other things, pinpoints the locations of the breaches. If you're a moron, like me.
Hull integrity restored. Draining systems initiated.
The other new room is the large room. Take a guess why they called it that. Certain facilities can only be placed in the centre of a multi-purpose room. The large room has 4 places you can put them. 4! You can throw up dividing walls and doors if you like as well. I preferred open plan. On the resource front, things have changed, slightly. In the past, you used to break open limestone nodes to get either titanium or copper. In this game, though, you can break open different nodes for either titanium or silver, or titanium and gold, or titanium and lead. Spot the pattern. Instead of the resources like silver, gold and lead all competing within the same resource, they've now got their own resource node. It means it's a damn sight easier to find the thing you're looking for. Material nodes are found in tighter clusters as well. And if all that doesn't make it easy enough for you, there's now a mineral detector tool. Select the mineral you want to find and it'll point you right to it. I mean, it's got a limited range, but still. There is one resource I noticed was considerably rare at this time round. The acid plants. They're used to make the batteries. They're incredibly rare, nowhere near as plentiful as the acid mushrooms used to be. Grab some seeds from them and shove them in a grow bed as soon as possible. Trust me. And veterans, rejoice a second time. For tools, can now be assigned to a specific slot on the quick bar, instead of the really awkward crapshoot that it used to be. There are a fair few tools and bits of equipment you should build. You don't need it all, but you probably should build everything first time out just to be on the safe side. The rebreather, for example, lets you breathe easier at lower depths. The laser cutter slices you into shipwrecks. The thermoblade cooks fish as you stab them, which is really useful. The repair tool, well, you'll use that a lot. Oh, and the high capacity oxygen tank that took me 13 hours to find. Shit, that was annoying. Swimming around with only 75 seconds of air constantly. I don't recommend it. The cold suit, which is really handy on the surface of the ice, but it's a bit of a pain to earn if you don't know how. And while we're on the subject of the surface, let's talk about building a base on the ice. Don't do it. Good talk. No, seriously, don't build a base up there. It's more bloody trouble than it's worth. Minecraft lets you place blocks to build a staircase. Conan Exiles lets you scale sheer walls. There's always a way to climb higher to build higher. Subnautica assumes you're underwater, therefore doesn't provide any form of scaffolding. It is possible to climb higher, it's just a colossal pain in the arse. And definitely not worth the effort. Not to mention the ice worm makes building a base inland impractical. And besides, I usually find one central base is all I really need. And veterans, rejoice for a third time. The moon pool can be rotated. I know, I'm as surprised as you. Admittedly, there is a catch, because of course there fucking is. Just like the scanner and control rooms, the moon pool can be rotated, but only to face 2 directions. You know, instead of all 4. For the scanner and control rooms, this isn't such a big deal. But your vehicles always face the moon pool's front, meaning it's a real shitter when you build your base, only to discover your vehicle launches straight into a wall. Why? Why does Subnautica do this? Why are the developers allergic to giving us an easily rotatable moon pool? Or an arrow on the top of it showing which direction your vehicle launches in will probably help as well. Why can't you just face it in any of the 4 main directions? This was a thing in the original game as well. And I don't know why. Nobody knows why. I've looked online and nobody knows why this is a thing. To be clear though, this is the only actual design flaw in the whole game. It's a pretty big one, but it's the only one. And finally, let's talk about the vehicles. I was initially disappointed that both the Seamoth mini-sub and the Cyclops submarine would not make it to the sequel. Then I built the sea truck and forgot all about them. The sea truck's cab is basically a mini-sub in of itself. It moves and turns really fast and handles really well. Later you'll find fragments of modules you can build. Each module can be attached to the cab and each other to create a much longer, slower, but more functional vehicle. You only attach the bits you want, so your truck is as big, slow and functional, or as light, fast and streamlined as you want. Unlike the Cyclops submarine, you can't customize the interior of this one. Not that it matters, because you get such a wide range of modules to attach to the back, it's irrelevant. You want more storage space? Build another storage module and slam it on the back, no problem. And another big plus point of this is, not only is it smaller and therefore narrower and can get through smaller gaps, but because it's basically a mini-sub attached on the front with a row of modules, you can break away from the main ship at any time and explore with the mini-sub end. But you can also have a docking module on the back for the exosuit, the prawn suit, and you can bring that with you as well. The original Cyclops made you choose because it only had one docking bay, either the mini-sub or the exosuit. You had to make a choice. In this, you can just take all your shit with you. And of course we've got to talk about the Prawn Exosuit. Veterans rejoice one final time. The prawn suit this time around doesn't handle like a drunk horse carrying half a ton of cement while being electrocuted repeatedly in the legs. It's quick, it's agile, its vertical thrusters have some proper kick to them this time, and it doesn't get caught on every 1-inch high pebble it encounters. Fuck, that was annoying. It handles brilliantly now. Well, apart from this, You jump in and the steering is super sensitive. Whoa, 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 until you start moving. It's kind of hilarious. Okay, let's talk about some other glitches I encountered. The knife is a bit unresponsive. You can't try to slash too fast, otherwise the animation kind of trips over itself. The grow beds are a little irritating. I'm thinking of the interior ones. The plants can't always be harvested, probably because they're just out of range. God damn it! I also had the game crash on me twice, and on both occasions it was after I descended to the depths to collect some kayanite. I don't know if that was a coincidence, but it did wipe out all my progress since my last manual save, which the first time it happened was about 2.5 hours. Fuck! Yeah, it doesn't auto-save as you play. Be careful. I do think this game is easier than its predecessor. Materials are more tightly clustered together, so it's easier to find them. The predators give up way easier than they used to. And there are 2 maps, or at least 2 that I've found. Maps! In-game. The first game never gave you a map. You just had to kind of swim or shoot around in the vehicles and figure it out for yourself, which was really hard if you didn't have a compass. But if you're a veteran of the first game, you'll fit in pretty well here. And there are some little changes, like certain materials drop from slightly different nodes, but once you get used to it, I think it's an improvement. And I love the sea truck. It is a big improvement over the previous game's 2 vehicles, even though I'm kind of sorry I lost the giant sub. I'm gonna give Subnautica Below Zero a 7 out of 10. I really do think it's a good game. There are some little hiccups here and there, but as an open world survival type game, most of them are set on land. I like this for being set under the water, and the visuals are awesome when you first see these landscapes for the first time. It's friggin' brilliant. It's colourful and detailed, and you want to get in there and have a closer look. So yeah, Subnautica Below Zero, 7 out of 10. That'll do for my review. What did you think of my video? Leave a like or dislike down below. What did you think of Subnautica Below Zero? Have you played it? How do you think it compares to the original? Leave a comment down below. And for those of you who can't get enough of my dreary voice, you can always subscribe, or you can inflict me on someone else by sharing instead. See you next time.